Everybody, welcome to my spirit art video. What you just saw was a spirit art drawing, which is a co-creation between me and spirit. I'm basically drawing a passed away individual and then telling their story. I am giving readings this coming Saturday at Halo's Ascension Center, located on 1309 West Guadalupe Road. So this lady's name is Madeline. This is her right here. She has two children. What happened was her husband died in a local battle, and they lived in the 1780s in an area that would be considered today either Russia or Ukraine, right around that area. So Northern Europe, they had a very distinctive type of clothing. I didn't quite capture the clothing here, but you can see like she could be wearing something like a bonnet right here. Anyways, she is living near these trees, but these trees also, they look like vortexes, or they also look like tornadoes. I think that she lived in kind of a forested area that was enchanted somehow, but there were also tornadoes where she lived. So the nature was very active. Okay, she fled because it wasn't acceptable at the time in her village to be a widow with two children and not remarry. She did not want to remarry after her husband was killed in this battle. Her husband's name was Christoph, so that's like very similar to Christopher. I'm not exactly how soon after his death that she fled, but she knew, I think that they were just trying to get, after a certain amount of time, it was like not acceptable for her to not be married. So probably during the time that they were trying to force her to remarry and things like that, that is when she fled the village. And I saw her very clearly running through the trees in the snow, and she was very out of breath and very panicked. So I don't know if it was a kidnapping situation or how they were trying to force her to marry, but her children, she wasn't carrying her children when she fled. And here in this photo, or not photo, but this drawing, we do have the kids, the two young boys. So I do think that at the time she fled, that they were larger or older than toddlers, so she was able to escape with them in the snow while they were also running. She did live in something that was like a cottage, so I'm not sure if she like found an abandoned cottage or something. She must have been running for days first, and then she eventually found a place to live. And it was by basically, these are my notes here, but basically by the mercy of a compassionate hunter, she was able to survive a little bit better in the woods. Now, the hunter did eventually help her relocate eventually, because she was basically living in hiding with these two boys. And so the hunter, he helped her for a while, and then he helped her relocate houses. He took her to a larger village, I think, that was further away. He might have even taken her to a city, but I couldn't tell. They were good friends, but I couldn't tell if he married her or what happened, but they definitely stayed in contact, and he was the main reason why she survived living in these woods. Now, what is the theme of Madeline's story here? The theme is that she was ostracized and rejected by the community that she was in, right? She wasn't doing things the correct way. She wasn't getting remarried. She didn't have a husband anymore, which was completely unacceptable at the time. And she was heavily criticized. One of the first messages that I got when I started this drawing is that nature will never reject you. And the woods literally took care of her And although, yes, we know that the hunter came along and the hunter did support her in certain ways, the woods brought the hunter to her. Okay, so nature here is once again the great healer, but not only is nature the great healer, it's also the great provider in her case, in Madeline's case. People can ostracize you, people can reject you, people can criticize you, people can manipulate you, people can betray you, but nature will not. Nature will not. At least in this case, she survived this fleeing situation from her city, from her village with the children. The children survived. I did see that they eventually did get back into school, so probably when they relocated to the larger city, they did get into school eventually. This was in the 1780s, so I'm not sure, like, what I should say by school is like a more formal education. I'm not really sure what they would have had in that area, but they did, the kids did get, and these two boys anyways, did get what would be considered a pragmatic education at the time. And they did re-enter into regular life, like they weren't hermits their entire lives. And I do think that she did remarry, whether it was the hunter or somebody else. She did go on to live a normal life after a while, after this incident of fleeing. But the main theme, though, is that nature will provide. Now, I also think, once again, these woods were probably very enchanted, and I think that maybe a lot of the woods around a lot of our houses is very enchanted. This would have been pretty pristine, undisturbed, natural habitat. So I think that I did see images of animals coming around and like dropping off food, but like they were never threatened by wolves. They were never threatened by any predatory animals that would have lived in the area. I think that the birds kind of like knew where she lived, and the animals kind of like understood where she lived, and I think they might have even understood who she was and like why she left, because I think the idea is that nature understands why people are rejected out of communities, and nature understands why people feel heartbroken because of other people around them and how they treat each other. And nature is affected by our emotions. So that is one way that nature, because we live in a symbiotic relationship with nature, energetically anyways. So when you feel sad, it does affect the nature around you. And then when you feel happy, it affects the nature around you. So the idea is that it benefits nature the most when a human is healthy and satisfied and being provided for. So at least in this case, that is what this drawing is about. It's about how nature will never reject you, and Madeline's case is a perfect illustration of this. That is how she was able to leave what some may call an evil situation of being forced into marrying somebody she didn't want to marry, and very mistreated by her community. Ostracized is the best word for what happened to her. So I hope you enjoyed my drawing. Once again, I'm giving readings this coming Saturday from 10:30 to 3:30, and I will hope to see you there, and I'll be back with another spirit art drawing before you know it. Thanks, bye.